Understanding the anatomy of the brain, a beginner's guide. The brain is a complex organ responsible for controlling various functions in our body, from basic biological processes to intricate psychological operations. To comprehend why people and animals act, feel, and think the way they do, it is crucial to understand the distinctive features of different neurological areas. In this video, we will explore the anatomy of the brain and its key components. The brain can be divided into different regions known as lobes, each with its own distinct functions. These lobes include the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is responsible for cognitive functions and voluntary movement, while the parietal lobe processes temperature, taste, touch, and movement information. The occipital lobe is primarily involved in vision, and the temporal lobe processes memories and integrates them with taste, sound, sight, and touch sensations. The outer layer of the brain, known as the cerebral cortex, plays a vital role in consciousness. It consists of folded gray matter and is responsible for higher-level cognitive functions. The cerebral hemispheres, which are the two rounded halves of the cerebrum, are divided by a deep fissure and connected by the corpus callosum. During embryonic development, the neural tube forms, eventually giving rise to the brain, spinal cord, nerves, and ganglia. Neurotrophins, which are chemicals within the body, promote the survival of neurons. Neurons are specialized nerve cells that produce, carry, and transmit neural impulses throughout the nervous system. Both intrinsic factors, such as neurotrophins, and extrinsic factors, such as diverse experiences, contribute to the development of different brain areas. Although experience can shape the brain's structure, its basic architecture is established before birth. The brain consists of three major divisions: the hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain. The hindbrain includes the medulla oblongata, which controls basic physiological functions like breathing and heart rate. Above the medulla lies the pons, reticular formation, RAF system, and locus coeruleus, which play roles in arousal, sleep, and attention. The metencephalon, also part of the hindbrain, contains the cerebellum, which is involved in learning and controlling coordinated motor activities. The cerebellum also contributes to other types of learning and performance. Abnormalities in the cerebellum have been associated with learning disabilities. The midbrain comprises the tectum, which includes the superior and inferior colliculi responsible for visual and auditory reflexes. The pineal gland, located above the colliculi, influences the sleep-wake cycle through the secretion of melatonin. The tegmentum, situated beneath the tectum, contains structures involved in movement, such as the red nucleus and substantia nigra. Understanding the anatomy of the brain provides valuable insights into how different brain areas function and contribute to our actions, emotions, and thoughts. While the brain's development is influenced by both internal and external factors, early experiences have the most significant impact on restructuring and reorganizing the brain. By unraveling the complexities of the brain's structure, we can gain a deeper understanding of the human mind and its intricate workings. The hindbrain is the bottommost part of the brain located at the base of the skull. It consists of several structures that play crucial roles in basic physiological functions necessary for survival. One of the main structures in the hindbrain is the medulla oblongata, also known as the medulla. The medulla controls essential functions like breathing, heart rate, and reflexes such as vomiting, coughing, sneezing, and salivating. It is sensitive to certain drugs and overdoses can impair its functioning, potentially leading to respiratory and cardiovascular failure. Above the medulla, there are other structures including the pons, reticular formation, RAF system, and locus coeruleus. These structures are involved in arousal, sleep, and attention. The pons, for example, plays a major role in rapid eye movement, REM, sleep, which is characterized by increased brain activity and dreaming. The reticular formation, also known as the reticular activating system, RAS, stretches from the pons through the midbrain and helps the brain pay attention to stimuli. The RAF system can increase the brain's readiness to respond to stimuli, while the locus coeruleus modulates its activity and is associated with depression and anxiety. The cerebellum, located in the hindbrain, is responsible for learning and controlling coordinated movements. It plays a vital role in activities such as walking, running, throwing a ball, and performing complex motor skills. It is also involved in other types of learning and performance, including language, reading, attention shifting, and timing. Moving to the midbrain, there is the tectum, which includes two enlargements called the colliculi. The superior colliculus controls visual reflexes, while the inferior colliculus controls auditory reflexes. The pineal gland, located above the colliculi, produces melatonin, a hormone that influences the sleep-wake cycle. Stimulation of the periaqueductal gray (PAG) area in the ventricular system helps block the sensation of pain. The forebrain is located above the midbrain and consists of structures such as the thalamus and hypothalamus. The thalamus is the center for sensory processing, receiving incoming sensory information and relaying it to the cerebral cortex. The hypothalamus is involved in various motivated behaviors such as eating, drinking, sexual activity, temperature regulation, and aggression. It regulates the pituitary gland, which controls the release of hormones in the endocrine system. Subcortical structures beneath the cerebral cortex, such as the basal ganglia and limbic system, are also important. The basal ganglia are involved in movements and muscle tone, and their dysfunction is associated with disorders like Parkinson's and Huntington's diseases. The limbic system, originally thought to be involved in emotional behaviors, also plays a crucial role in memory formation. Structures like the hippocampus and amygdala are essential for learning, memory, emotional perception, and threat assessment. The cerebral cortex, covering the cerebral hemispheres, is responsible for complex thinking abilities. It is divided into four main lobes: occipital, parietal, temporal, and frontal. The occipital lobe processes visual information, while the parietal lobe is involved in bodily sensations and spatial reasoning. The temporal lobe is responsible for auditory perception, language, music comprehension, and memory. The frontal lobe, the largest lobe, is involved in various neurological functions, including motor control, planning, language, and executive functions. Understanding the structure and functions of the hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain helps us comprehend the complex organization of the brain and its role in physiological processes, movement, perception, memory, and cognition.